Hi guys, my name is Francis and welcome back once again to this episode of the training. And in today's episode we'll be learning about how to measure PIP movement in the market. Okay, I know a lot of you are confused about how to actually calculate PIPs. This has been an area in the Forex industry that a lot of professional traders still don't even know how to calculate PIPs in Forex. Okay, so I want to help you understand and get this clear so that you wouldn't have to come back to this once you are at the top. So what is a PIP? A PIP measures the amount of change in the exchange rate for a currency pair. Literally what a PIP means is that it determines the quantity or amount of exchange that's happening or has happened in the Forex market or on a currency pair. Okay, so this PIP is calculated using the last number after the decimal point. Take note of this. A PIP is calculated using the last number after a decimal point, and we have said that a PIP measures the amount of change in the exchange rate for a currency pair. Most of major currency pairs are priced to 5 decimal places, and the change in that of the 4th decimal point is what we call PIP movement. The diagram below, this diagram shows us how PIP calculation literally looks like. This is a currency pricing 1.0614, and we say that PIP movement occurs on the 4th decimal point. This is the actual PIP movement. So when you add 1 PIP to this number, it literally means that there is a 1 PIP movement between 4 to 5. Okay, so this is 1.0614. 1.0615 means that there is a 1 PIP movement between this pricing and this current pricing. Okay, so that's what it means. So for currencies like the GBP USD, where you see a currency pair being priced into 5 decimal points, for example in this case 1.35361, the 6th decimal point is where the PIP movement happens, and then the last or 5th decimal point is actually called a pipette. It's called what? A pipette. Okay, so this is actually a pipette. The 5th decimal point is called a pipette, while the 4th decimal point is the PIP movement. And we're interested in measuring the PIP movement. So once there's an increase on the 4th decimal point or decrease on the 4th decimal point, we know that there is a PIP movement, either to the upside or a decrease to the downside. Okay, we must also take note that we do not include pipette in the calculation of PIPs. So for example, for a currency pair priced at 1.35361, the 6 is the 4th decimal point, and this is where the PIP movement should happen. When you add 1 to this pricing 1.3536, this will literally mean 1.3537. okay, as easy as that. Now I'm going to teach you guys 3 things you need to know, especially in calculating PIPs. Number 1 is that the currency pairs are actually grouped into 3 major ways for calculating PIPs. Number 1 is PIP calculations for 4 decimal place currency pairs. Number 2, we have PIP calculation for currency pairs with 2 decimal place numbers. Okay, so you need to know that they are actually different. Okay, there's a way to calculate a currency pair that is priced into 4 decimal points, and there's a way to calculate PIPs for a currency pair that is priced into 2 decimal place. Okay, so example of such a currency are gold and the JPY, the Japanese yen pairs. Okay, they are actually, most times they are paired, they are priced into 2 decimal place. Okay, so let's quickly look at example. We want to understand how to calculate PIPs. So these are the currency pairs and these are the pricing. So 1.36786, you can see these are 5 decimal points. This last decimal point is called pipette. The 4th decimal point is where the PIP movement happens. You can see from 8 to 9 there is a 1 PIP movement. Okay, so if you study it, you will see this is 107.69, the Japanese yen pairs. You can see that they are grouped into 2 decimal place pairs, or they are priced into 2 decimal place. Okay, so pairs like the gold, you can see they are also priced into 2 decimal place. So we want to understand how to calculate this PIP movement on these 2 classes of assets or currency pairs. So the first is, if you want to add pips to a 4 decimal place currency, multiply it by 0.0001. This is the first principle. If you want to add pips to a 4 decimal place currency pair, simply multiply the amount of pips you wish to add by 0.001. Whatever value you get, you directly add it to the market price of that currency pair. For example, Euro USD is priced 1.1051. The last figure, or the last decimal, or the 4th decimal point is actually where the PIP movement happens. You have to understand this. So if you want to add, for example, 10 pips on this pricing, I will simply multiply 10 by 0.0001, and then I will directly add it using simple arithmetic. Okay, number 2, if you want to add pips to a 2 decimal currency pair, simply multiply by 0.01. If it's a 4 decimal place pair, multiply by 0.001. If it's a 2 decimal place currency pair, multiply by 0.01. Whatever value you get, you add it to the price of the currency pair. If you want to subtract, do the same thing, multiply and then you subtract. Whatever value you get, subtract it from the pricing of that currency pair. Okay, so for currencies that are priced into 2 decimal place, the last decimal point is actually where the PIP movement happen, and then this 3rd figure is called a pipette. We do not include pipettes in the calculation of a PIP movement on a currency pair. Okay, so let's quickly look at examples, since we have examined how to calculate PIP movement on a 4 decimal place currency pair and a 2 decimal place currency pair. I hope this makes sense. So we are assuming that AUD USD is priced at 0.6916, and we want to add 20 pips to 0.6916, the amount of change happening on a currency pair, or the amount of exchange happening on a currency pair. This is what we want to measure. So we wish to add 20 pips on this pricing, 0.6916. This is a 4 decimal place currency pair. So that means first thing we are going to do is to multiply the pips we wish to add by 0.004, so that we will make this pip into a 4 decimal place. So it's literally, this is 20 times 0.001, which is equal to 0.0020, a 4 decimal place. Then you add this to 0.6916, which is the initial pricing of AUD USD. So this is how to do it. 0.6916 plus, you know how to do it, simple arithmetic, 0.0020. So you add 6 to 0 is 6, 1 to 2 is 3, 9 to 0 is 9, 6 to 0 is 6. Addition, 0 to 0 is 0. This is the current price of AUD USD once we have a 20 pip increase on 0.6916. If you want to subtract, you do the same thing. You want to subtract 50 pips from the same price. All you need to do is to multiply 50 by 0.001. It's going to be 0.0050, but subtract it from the same price, you are going to get that figure. You want to do for a 2 decimal place currency pair. So we are taking an example on USD JPY at 107.31. That's the price. Remember, the last decimal point on a 2 decimal place currency pair is where the pip movement happens, and in this case is 1. We want to add 100 pips on this. Okay, it's as easy as possible. What do? Multiply 100 by 0.01, which is equals to 1. 100 by 0.01 or 0.01 times 100 is actually equals to 1. Then you add 1 to this 107.31. How do you do that? You just do it 107.31 plus 1.00. This is simple arithmetic, and I really believe that we understand how to do this. Okay, 1.00, because when you multiply 0.01 times 100, it's supposed to give you 1.00. That's what you are supposed to get once you multiply 1 times 0.01. Okay, that's what you are supposed to get once you multiply 100 times 0.01. It's going to give you 1.00. Yeah. So guys, that's how to do it. That's how to calculate pips for a 4 decimal place currency pair and a 2 decimal place currency pair. I really hope that you understand how to do this. So guys, if you found value on this video, kindly click the like button, subscribe to this channel, share this video, and until next time, I wish you good luck, good trading.